Hello, welcome to this e-lesson all about health equity. I'm Saria, I'm a staff scientist with the Science North Get Back These a Shot project.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Dunn here in Beaukinstas, aka Calgary, Alberta, and I'm a freestyle rapper, a musician, and environmental scientist, and I'm working with the Many Nations One Voice for Wellness Hip Hop Science Project at the Telespark Science Center.
Hi, my name is TK Othello. I'm an R&B artist and I'm also a Spotify playlist curator.
In this lesson, we're going to learn why everyone does not have an equal chance at being their healthiest self, and look at some real-world examples.
And then we'll teach you the Science Genius Method, which is a fun technique for writing science raps on any topic of your choosing, and our example today is going to be health equity.
Yep, let's get started.
You may notice that we are all different. We have different cultures, different interests, different skin colors, different abilities, and different ways of viewing the world. Even though we have differences, we should all be equal, which means we are all treated with respect and have the same opportunities to be successful, healthy, and happy in our lives. Equality sounds like equity, but they're not the same thing. We're going to learn why. To help us understand equity and equality and how it relates to health, I'd like to introduce you to Mandy, Sarah, and Jack. These three friends are all trying to watch a soccer game that is happening on the other side of this fence. As you can see, Mandy is only about half as tall as the fence. She cannot see anything. Sarah is almost tall enough, but she still cannot quite see. Jack is nice and tall. He can easily see over the fence and is happily watching the game. Let's remove the fence for a second to think about how we could solve this problem so that all three friends could enjoy the game together. One option would be to bring 3 identical stools, one for each of them. That would look like this. Let's bring back the fence and see if this works. With this solution, Mandy still cannot see over the fence. Sarah has to squirm and squint to see, and Jack is even higher over the fence than he was before. We've given the friends equal treatment by giving them all the same sized stools. But have we given them an equal ability to see over the fence? No, they're not equal, and it's because they did not have equal starting points. Jack was already able to see over the fence. He doesn't need a stool. And Mandy is so short that the stool wasn't enough to help her see over the fence. Equal treatment does not always work because people need to already be equal in order to have the same needs. So let's try another approach. Let's use stackable blocks. Because Mandy is the shortest, let's give her the number of blocks she would need to see over the fence. Same thing for Sarah. For Jack, we know that he can already see, so he doesn't need any. Let's add the fence back and see if this works. It does. Now, everyone can comfortably see over the fence. This approach of thinking about what each person needs and treating them accordingly is called equity. So while equality is treating everyone the same, equity treats each person according to what they need. Now, how do these concepts relate to real life and health equity? Well, first, health equity means everyone has an equal chance to be as healthy as they can. In our world, this doesn't always happen. We have a lot of health inequity, which means it is much harder for some people to be healthy than others because of reasons that are outside of their control. So why is it easier for some people to have good health and much harder for others? Well, there are obvious factors that affect your ability to be healthy, such as having a serious illness. But there are other factors that also have a strong impact on health. These are called the social determinants of health. They are the experiences each of us have in society that determine how healthy we can be. These include things like where you were born and where you live, the type of family you grow up in, and whether you belong to a minority group. Minority groups include Black and Indigenous people of color, LGBTQIA2+, or people who have disabilities. Next, let's look at a couple of examples of how these factors influence your health. Going back to our 3 friends, think about the ability to see over the fence as the ability to be as healthy as possible. Why can Jack see over the fence or have good health on his own while Mandy cannot? These dials represent each of their chances to be as healthy as possible. Let's start with where you live. Let's say Jack lives in a neighborhood where there are many fresh food grocery stores nearby. Healthy food means a better chance at good health. Mandy lives in a city in northern Canada where there isn't regular access to fresh fruits and vegetables and is often very expensive. She does not have the same access to food that is beneficial to her health. Next, Jack's parents have high-paying jobs and can easily afford things like sports activities, counseling, and a warm, safe home. This is extremely beneficial to both your physical and mental health. Mandy's parents are immigrants to Canada and work minimum wage jobs to support their family. Sometimes they have to choose between buying food or buying medications because they cannot afford both. It's very hard to be healthy when your basic needs are not met. As a person of color, Mandy is a member of a minority group, which means she is less likely to have her lived experiences understood by her healthcare providers, and this can lead to poorer treatment. As a member of the majority, Jack is used to seeing doctors that look like him and that understand his experiences. Do you see how their chances of good health are very different based on their experiences? So in real life, Jack being able to see over the fence on his own is actually because his starting point gives him some advantages. So it's like he's already standing on blocks. Likewise, the fact that Mandy cannot have good health on her own is because she is facing some disadvantages. This is like her starting point being even below ground level, and Sarah falls somewhere in between. Health equity is needed to ensure each of them receives what they need to be as healthy as possible.
Hi, so this is the Science Genius method, and we're going to write bars. Those are lines of song lyrics that match up to a beat about the topic of health equity. So what we did first of all, after watching that lesson by Azaria, shouts out Azaria, we are going to pick out some vocabulary words. Now some people like to write with a notebook and a pen, and some people like to write on their computer or on their phone. So whatever makes you the most comfortable, we start by thinking up all of the vocabulary words that we can and write them down on a piece of paper. Then after that, we're gonna line those words up into rhyme. So one line of song lyrics or one line of poetry or a bar, that's gonna be a count of 4. So to get started, let's practice counting to 4 along with the beat. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's just put our hand up on the 1. Here we go, and let's add clapping on the 2 and the 4. So we come in on the 1, and we're going to put our rhyming words at the ends of our bars. And so then you start writing out your sentences, adding in your vocabulary words, putting your rhyming words at the end, and you stack them up into sections of lyrics called verses. So now we've got our list of health equity science vocabulary words. We know how to count bars. So now I'll encourage you to click the link in this e-lesson and open up the Science Genius Beat Library. So that's a set of 20 original hip-hop beats, and you can listen through with your headphones or turn on a speaker in your classroom. You can work alone with a partner or in a group. And the first thing you're going to do is listen through the beat library and pick out a beat that you'd like to try writing your rhymes over. So here I've got a bunch of different vocabulary words that I just picked out of the e-lesson, just words you think sound cool, topics you'd like to elaborate on, anything that speaks to you, really no wrong answers. And then we start lining up our bars. So here you can see I wrote 8 bar verses, that means 8 lines of lyrics or poetry with a little break, so my friend can have a chance to rap too. And these rhyming words at the ends of the lines, these are our end rhymes. So my friend TK here typed up his lyrics on his laptop. I like to work on a notepad so I can scribble and scratch, and then I rewrote it on my phone so I could read it nice and clearly. So choose your method. Okay, friends, so just to recap, we picked up our science vocabulary words from the video lesson, and then we arranged our bars of lyrics into verses. So my friend TK and I decided to do 8-bar verses for our structure. So I'll rap 8 bars and then he'll rap 8 bars. We're gonna go back and forth. And you can choose any structure that you want for your songs. You could do verses of 4 bars or 16, whatever makes you happy and sounds the best with your concept. Once you have your rhymes all written out and you've gone through the beat library to select your beat, you can practice flowing those rhymes over the beat. And we went into the Science Genius beat library and chose beat number 5. So now we're going to show you what we wrote on the topic of health equity. Let's go.
Alright. Yeah, talking about health equity. I'ma tell you what it meant to me. Ain't really about everybody gets the same. It's about lifting up those who were in pain, attending to the needs so that they can be strength. If someone's down bad, we can really go the length to taking care of their well-being for real. Health equity can make the world go hell.
Equality means we are all equal. Different skin tones, but we are all people. My rap technique will expand on the theme. Equity means giving people what they need. Everybody comes from a different place. Imagine starting 10 meters back in a race. A few folks get a head start, getting life while most face obstacles. It ain't right.
It's about helping our communities that were wrong. Cause when we're all up, it's easier to get along. Some people that are ill have to force themselves to work. Some people feel secure healing at home when they're hurt. So I may need a band-aid, well that person needs a can. So if they got a band-aid too, it wouldn't last. And every hand felt the same, yeah, sounds good in theory. But people so distressed so we ain't seeing clearly.
We live in a system, that's a set of rules. Our homes in different neighborhoods, we go to different schools. Some people work in offices, some people work with tools, some people paid in full, others struggle, that's not cool. High income families can buy healthy food, while minimum wage ain't enough to get through. Deciding meals or medicine, that's incertitude, so the system has issues, let's try something new.
The homies on the streets that grew up in the poverty, you see that the health needs ain't taken properly. Unlike the homies living in the large gate properties, ignoring street health needs would simply be a robbery of their humanity. The system's inequality is giving insanity. If we're speaking honestly, it shouldn't matter if we got pennies or the lottery. Equal health opportunities is how it ought to be.
It seems authorities don't respect minorities with policies that benefit the majority. Everyone deserves a good chance at health, even if you lack financial wealth.
People in the world separated into classes. Societal expectations may be planted in the masses. Social determinants should it be permanent. Affording medicine ain't gotta be a tournament. Peace.
Okay, so now we've written some verses about the science topic and we've practiced over the beat a few times, and if you're feeling pretty good about your musical creation, now it's time to add some production value. So you might want to consider memorizing your lyrics and performing it in front of your class for fun. Now let's say you're a shy person, you prefer writing and don't like talking out loud. Well, you can ghostwrite for your friend and get your friend to rap or sing your lyrics. And the same goes if you're an extroverted person but you don't really feel like writing. Why don't you team up with a writer and give some voice to their creations? Now you can also add in dance choreographies, cool poses, or some call and response. Now call and response is pretty easy. For example, when I say science, you say genius, science,
Genius.
science,
Genius.
etc. So you could work up the classroom that way to get a little ambiance going for your performance. And the last technique I'll mention to you to spice up your rap songs is to practice doubling up the end rhymes with your friends. So we'll show you our first 2 verses again, and we're just going to shout out the end rhymes of the other person's bar. So let's give it a shot.
Alright. Yeah, talk about health
Health equity.
I'ma tell you what it meant to me. Ain't really about everybody gets the same. It's about lifting up those who are in pain, attending to the needs so that they can be in strength. If someone's down bad, we can really go the length to taking care of their well-being for real. Health equity can make the world go heal.
Equality means we are all equal. Different skin tones, but we are all people. A rap technique will expand on the theme. Equity means giving people what they need. Everybody comes from a different place. Imagine starting 10 meters back in a race. A few folks get a head start in life while most face obstacles, it ain't right. So there you go. If you want to add a little something extra, try rapping together, maybe going back and forth, backing each other up. And the main thing to remember when you're doing this is just to have fun and relax and enjoy yourselves. So we hope that you have a good time. So get into it, enjoy the Beat Library, and happy writing.
Thank you for coming along with us to learn about health equity today. Remember that people have different starting points in life and therefore different needs when it comes to being healthy. We hope you had fun and learned something new.
That's right, and we hope you enjoyed learning the Science Genius technique. So remember, writing your rhymes is the assignment, but if you're having a good time, try going a little bit further. We hope that you will go ahead and memorize it, maybe prepare a little performance, and try performing in front of your class.
Thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon.